Let's talk about finding love the second time around. Maybe after a divorce or the breakdown of a significant relationship. You can feel a lot more pressure to get it right. You don't want to ignore the red flags. You don't want to be unhappy again. You don't ever want to be in that same position, but you don't want to be alone either. So, I don't know, the stakes are so much higher. If it's later in life and you've got kids, it's no longer just about you, it's about their happiness as well. You might be in a totally different financial position, and maybe you've lost half of what you had, and you don't want to be in that position again. So you find yourself thinking, well, it's really important that I choose the right person, that I choose the person that's perfect for me. Now, I find that this is a huge trap. I like to call it the perfection trap because, having that thought that you're going to find your Mr. Perfect or your Miss Perfect kind of leads you to the wrong types of expectations when you're dating. Also leads you often to looking for the wrong things. Now, don't get me wrong, who you choose to be with is really important to have a happy life and a happy relationship. Because the reality is, we are the sum of the five people we spend the most time with, right? And no more so than in your romantic relationships. So, who you choose matters. But there's a couple of things that happen here. Number one, and spoiler alert, absolutely no one on the face of the planet is perfect. You're not perfect, I'm not perfect. We're human beings having a human experience. That means even if we're really emotionally intelligent, we'll sometimes act emotionally. We might snap at people, we might overreact, we might get angry, we might say the wrong thing, we might misunderstand other people in our lives. It's just what happens, right? And it often happens in relationships because we make assumptions that we know what the other person's thinking, or we assume that they think and act like we do, and people don't. So what I find is that looking for a perfect person is something that doesn't exist. You know, only robots can be perfect if they're programmed. Humans just can't be. They don't have the ability to be perfect all the time. And the other thing is, it's what we take into our relationships. Sometimes we take our past baggage, we take our assumptions, we think the other person is like us. And sometimes learning how to be in a relationship is just as important. Because we've often just copied what our parents done. We don't know how to communicate in a way that we can be heard. So there are those two factors that go into play to creating that wonderful relationship. And just thinking that you're going to find that perfect person and focusing on certain things on a list can absolutely get in the way of your happiness. Now, I know that in my own personal experience, I was married for 21 years. I left my marriage, dated for a while. I'm now in a happy relationship. What I found was interesting is, I went through a process that I take my clients through to be really clear about what's important, to have a process so you don't miss the red flags again, so you can enjoy dating. So, I did that with myself, and I was clear about what I wanted, and I got what I wanted. But what was interesting is some things that I thought might have been important really weren't, and some things that I didn't know I got. Because we don't really always know what we need. And, as much as like attracts like, opposites still attract. And it makes life interesting, it makes life fun. So, I'm going to talk about, people might tell you to write a list. I often work with people to say it's better to be clear about how you want to feel in a relationship. And, some things that we put on a list just aren't important. And I'm not saying this to say that anyone should settle, because I don't think you should settle. But what's often on people's lists are things that are unattainable and really don't freaking matter, okay? A lot of the superficial stuff, when you're in a long-term relationship, you don't even notice, but you do notice how you feel around them. Now, I wanted to talk about this because I saw an article by Kim Kardashian. Now, love her or hate her, I'm sure you know who she is. Now, I know that going through a divorce is really tough. And it's 10 times worse or a million times worse, I could imagine, in the public eye, right? Playing it out and then having to date the second time around and having to, have that pressure on you to get it right would be enormous. Now, anyway, I read that Kim has her list for her perfect man. And I read through some of Kim's list, and some of it I'm like, yeah, absolutely, that should be on there. Some things, if you're a guy listening to this podcast, yeah, a lot of women are looking for those things. So it's a really interesting list. Other things, she's got certain qualities that she wants that you're probably not going to get in the same person. I think she wants calm with spontaneous. She wants someone that is very successful, which is usually means driven, with someone who's adaptable and I'll go through what they are. But often you're not going to find those things in the same package. What is probably more important is someone who can communicate and you can talk about feelings and, looking at, they can look at things in a calm way at times. Sorry, I'm not thinking about what I'm saying before I'm saying it, but look, often what she was looking for wouldn't come in one person. And some of the things on a list are stuff that she's likely to do with her girlfriends that a lot of guys aren't going to want to do, but it's not really a deal breaker. So let me go through a list, and excuse me if I'm looking down. So she's got 36 things on her list. So she wants someone who will protect her and someone who will fight for her. Yeah, absolutely. Most women want that. Being with someone who's got your back, who supports you, it feels wonderful, right? And it's something most women look for. Although we may get a bit, if sometimes the way guys protect us, we may not like that, and we may react against it. It's still something we subconsciously look for. Number 3, she wants good hygiene. Like, absolutely, I think most people are looking for good hygiene. It should be a basic. Number 4, she wants someone that's calm. Number 5, she wants no mum and dad issues. Now, I want to talk about this. Most people on the planet have some level of mum or dad issues, right? Even if we've got great parents, relationships with our parents will always have an impact on us and our relationships. I suppose you don't want someone with enormous mum and dad issues because they will play out in your relationship. And, you want people to have worked through those first. But, everyone's going to have some level of them. Next, she wanted someone who was patient. She wanted someone who's supportive. She wants someone who can be happy for her. She wants good teeth. Now, I find teeth are very important. Anytime I've done a single survey, teeth are up there on the list. So if you're going to invest money in anything, invest money in your teeth. She wants someone who's spontaneous. She wants someone who's fun. She wants someone whose friends and family love and have time for. Now, this is an interesting one. I think that your friends and family can often see things that you don't see. So when we have a high level of chemistry, it shuts down the judgment in relation to the person we're dating. So sometimes the people around you can see what you can't see. And, you do want to be with someone whose family and friends love. So that is a good one to have on the list. But sometimes be wary of what some family and friends think. Some friends don't want you to be in a relationship. Some family don't have your best interests at heart. So that can be one to look at. She wants someone that's a great role model for a kid. Yeah, absolutely. She wants someone with no heavy baggage because she has enough. Now, on this point, what I would say is I absolutely think she should work on her baggage, because it's really unfair to say, I've got so much heavy baggage, you've got to accept mine, I'm not going to accept yours. Again, like attracts like. If you're coming with heavy baggage, you're likely to attract someone in your life that has heavy baggage. When I work with my clients, that's an area I work with a lot. She wants someone that's taller than her. Again, superficial thing. I've seen so many people in amazing relationships with someone that's the same height, slightly shorter. We get caught up with that. And, I know women like the protective feeling of a guy taller than him. But you can have an amazing relationship, and height doesn't always matter as much as you think it does. She wants someone who loves to work out. Yeah, that's fine. She wants someone who's motivated, independent, not clingy. She doesn't want anyone balding. So I don't know what would happen if she met someone who then went bald. Does it then become a deal breaker? That seems a bit harsh. She wants someone who's got good taste. She wants someone who's smart, someone who's kind. I think kindness should always be on someone's list, and emotional intelligence too. She wants great manners. Yep. She wants someone who's into making sure they're into self-care. She wants someone who she likes their scent even after a workout. She wants, the next three I laugh at. She wants someone to have facials together, someone who will go have laser treatment together and do ice baths together. Yeah, it's okay to have on a wish list, but some of the guys that might meet her other criteria probably aren't going to be interested in that. She wants someone that can read a room. She wants someone who has his shit together. She wants someone adaptable. She wants someone with good hair. She wants someone that respects others. Respects others is great. Um, she has a lot of characteristics on her list that you're not always going to find in the same person. So let me show you. Kind, patient, spontaneous, fun, motivated, independent, not clingy, has his shit together, successful. So sometimes the highly driven, successful person isn't going to be as calm and as adaptable as sometimes all of those characteristics together, if you look at it, they rarely come in the same person, right? And it's important to kind of look and go, are you being realistic with your list? Because otherwise you run the risk of missing out on great people. And that's why I say I like better going on feelings. You want to feel seen, you want to feel heard, you want to be supported. She obviously wants someone who's as equally successful as her, who can support her, who is fun to be with, and who can deal things in a calm way, right? And that's not unrealistic. But some of those are, communication skills, and you want to look at the values that someone has. So when I look at a list, I kind of think that it's too ideal, that you're not going to find all of those things. And some things don't matter as much as others. There's some things on her list that I reckon are absolute must-haves. But my question is your list and your thought of having the ideal person getting in the way of your success? Now, this is an area I work with people all the time, and I work with people to have successful relationships the second time around. And I see the traps that they fall into that stops them doing that. And this doesn't have to be you. So, if this is you, reach out, let's chat. Let me see how I can help you. Anyway, thanks for listening, and bye for now.